Got any ideas?
Hey guys, VALTORIOUS the Awoken here. Now, today I bring to you the how powerful is the original Belmonts. Now, I know I've done a video a couple of months ago explaining about how powerful is the original Alucard from the original games from the reboot, and how powerful was Dracula from the original games and from the reboot. Now, the first Belmont that I'm going to bring up is Leon Belmont. And Leon Belmont is a very particular Belmont that basically went into the castle of Walter, defeated Walter, but by doing so, he had to sacrifice the woman that he loved in order for him to complete the whip. He does this and he basically fights his best friend, who manipulated everything and staged out everything from the beginning due to revenge against God and his plan. Now, the fight between those two, if they was to have actually would have fought in the castle, both men is actually fresh on their power, so it doesn't necessarily mean that Leon Belmont would have taken him down quickly, and maybe Matthias would have taken Leon down quickly, because both men is actually fresh on their power. But the whip would have you know, kind of like killed his best friend. But seeing in like future Castlevania games and other previous Castlevania games, Dracula's power was basically being it was increasing. He was starting to like fight people in his own realm. He was starting to do like crazy amounts of things. So if Leon was to have like faced him in that despair and rage, he probably would have won. He probably would have beaten him, because like I said, both men is actually fresh. Then I think he probably would have beaten him and stuff, because again, Leon Belmont, he actually did what he needed to do in order for him to actually defeat Walter. Because if he didn't have the courage to have like killed like the woman that he loved in order for him to complete the whip, he would have been a doomed Belmont from the beginning, and he knew what he had to do. And all the training and a lot of training that he had to do over the years to teach previous and future Belmonts and the next of his kin in order for him to hunt and kill the knight. Now, Trevor Belmont, let's see. Trevor Belmont, actually watching from the show, it was quite interesting, because when you see the show and you kind of get like a person that you see his personality and you see how he is and how he has to take up the mantle. Finally, at the end, he has to take up the mantle and actually fight Dracula. Now, seeing how in the previous game, I believe it was called Dracula's Curse, where Trevor Belmont was actually in, he fought Dracula in the castle, but by doing so, he had help by Cypher. You know, he had help from her. But if you would say if it was a one-on-one fight between the two with no interferences, no help at all, I believe Dracula probably could have won. He probably would have won because of the overwhelming power that he had and the experience that he used when he created the castle. Because giving him time to create the castle and to like start summoning like demons and dark beings and stuff, eventually by the help from Hector and Isaac, the Devil Forge Masters, using their help and assistance to like create and form devils and stuff. But you know, it took him a while. So I don't think that if Trevor would have faced him alone, he probably would have lost. Because seeing how he was, I'm not gonna say because in the show, because again the show is the same, but seeing how it is in the game, it's a little different. You know, just it's a little different. You know, for people who haven't seen the show, it's a lot different. You know. Now Christopher Belmont, I would like to say he has like premonition type dreams. When he had dreams that Dracula was gonna like come back and stuff, because you know, due to Trevor Belmont and Cypher like being wedded and eventually having kids and made their bloodlines even stronger. So then when you have Christopher who has like these dreams, you would think that these are like visions from the future, or maybe like past Belmonts from the beyond was sending him like these dreams and stuff, like telling him like, listen, like you got the training, like Dracula, he's coming. So eventually he got prepared, because when Dracula's followers resurrected him and brought him back to life, he actually had to go into his castle and actually defeat him. And Dracula decided to come up with another plan to say, well, if I can't defeat you by doing these types of means, I might as well try to control your son and make you kill your own son. But due to the Belmont blood being so strong and actually heightened at this point, it actually failed. Now you would think, if Trevor haven't married Cypher, or haven't, you know, made the family even stronger, you would think that maybe Dracula's control probably would have worked, and the power of the Belmont bloodline wouldn't have been enough without a second, you know, assistance. So I think that in this situation, Christopher Belmont got lucky in doing by defeating like Dracula, even though with the whip and everything else involved didn't put a dent in him and actually defeated him, but obviously didn't like fully kill him and stuff. But again, Dracula versus Christopher Belmont, like in his own, like I'm talking about in these, like when he fought Richter, like before I even get to that, before he, like, you know, when he fought Richter and stuff, and he was like opening up dimensions and doing all this next level stuff, do you honestly think Christopher Belmont probably would have won? And I have to probably strongly say no. I think that he would try, but I think he would die. Or probably would sustain some sort of form of an injury that would probably have him on a near-death experience. I don't know. Now, leading on to Simon Belmont. Simon Belmont was basically like a very young, hungry, thirst Belmont, where he's just like, well, I just want to be for the fame. Like all my previous ancestors, you know, they defeated Dracula. Now I want to do it too. So what he gonna do? He went to his castle, he fought Dracula, but he also gained like a curse. And the curse was basically killing him, until eventually he had to go find Dracula's remains, resummon him again, and actually kill him. But by doing so, he had to like kill like Dracula's like followers and people that tried to like resurrect him, dark priests, all of that. He had to kill them, and then the pieces that they had, he had to like bring those pieces and resummon him again. And like I said, he had to kill him, and that's when the curse went away. But this was like another Castlevania game that actually happened. See, Simon actually had got the job done, and Simon's power was kind of like strong. That's when the beginning point was actually starting to happen, where you had previous Belmonts who was either strong, wise, smart, very tactical. Because don't get me wrong, all of the Belmonts are like they're very tacticians. Like, you know, they have what it takes to actually kill like any type of form of dark creature, because they was trained and they was bred in the day they was born. So it doesn't mean that they actually was loose. Now you could say there's some inconsistencies between Simon and Richter. Now before I come to Richter, we're gonna start off with Justin Belmont. Justin Belmont, oh my god, Justin Belmont, he was like I felt like he had the best because of his like the magics and the stuff that he was like, it really started to inherit on like maybe on his mother's side because of the arts that he was actually doing. I felt like Justin Belmont, he could, well, you know, he could fight Dracula. I felt like he could fight Dracula in his realm and actually win. I felt like if Justin was to probably fight, I don't know, maybe Salma, I think he probably would win. Because Salma Cruz is basically like a, you know, reincarnation of Dracula. So I think Justin would win. I see Justin probably would win it. But if I'm wrong, you know, let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, Justin Belmont was very, very skillful with the magic and stuff, and he was very powerful. One of my favorite Belmonts, actually. Very powerful. So, and seeing how in previous games, you know, we never actually seen him. Well, no, because Dracula wasn't like fully resurrected. But a full power Dracula versus Justin, I think he would win. Because going down to my man Richter. Richter Belmont was said to have been the strongest Belmont ever. Now, yes, he fought Dracula in his realm. He beat him. But by doing so, he doomed the Belmonts by having the vampire killer be cursed. Because again, Dracula's plan was that, well, listen, if I can't defeat you, kill you, do anything else to you, I might as well take away the one thing that gives you strength. And he took away the vampire killer, making it for the Belmonts to never kind of use again into other means. They was able to use the vampire killer again. Now, other families had to figure ways to optimizing on how to like deal with the Dracula situation. To eventually they did, and other families restored the power of the vampire killer. And then Julius came along. Julius Belmont came along and he defeated Dracula. And then he sustained a very blow to the head, and that's when he lost his memories. He lost his memories until eventually he started to regain them back in the somewhat near future, where he found Salma, and that's when he was like, well, listen, you're the reincarnation of Dracula. I have to defeat you, and well, you know, if you ever cross that line again, I'm gonna have to kill you. If you can't control the power that you have and go to Dracula's realm and actually go to the Chaos realm and actually destroy the remnants of Dracula, so which eventually Salma had to do. But Julius, I felt like Julius Belmont was strong. I feel like he was powerful, but I don't really think that he had like the very full potential as Richter, because even though Richter fought Dracula in his realm, he also had to have a little bit help from the woman, well, the little girl that was with him all those years ago, who eventually became somewhat of a teenager when she helped Alucard help him find like Richter, when, you know, at the time Dracula was basically controlling him. Well, Shaft was basically controlling him and stuff. So, you know, it kind of makes you wonder, if Richter was so powerful, how did he manage to get placed under a spell by Shaft, and also was the reason why the Belmont family was doomed to never use the whip again. So it also makes you wonder, like, was he naive? You know, was he just a Belmont that had a lot of power? Like, think of Richter like a football player, where he's a jock. Like, yeah, he got all the tools to become successful, but then, you know, he's not really smart up there. But like I said before, all the Belmonts was basically trained and groomed to kill any type of dark creature since the beginning of their lives. So you know, I don't know, there's a lot of inconsistencies there, but I think that personally, like, my all-time favorite, I think, would probably be Gabriel Belmont from the reboot, because god dang, man, just god dang, like, I love Gabriel because Gabriel Belmont done it all. He faced like old gods, he faced devils, creatures, you know, he faced it all. And you know, I still, even though the reboot it wasn't bad, it was pretty good, you know, to a degree, but I just loved the original. I loved the original too, but the reboot was kind of great too. But yeah, I think personally, Justin is probably, for me, I think he's the strongest, because Richter doomed the family for a long time. He doomed the family for a while. Like, yeah, you could say Simon almost had himself killed because of him, because he rushed himself in there and he was cursed of Dracula until he had to find a way of destroying him, because again, he was the one that left like this mark on him. But he wasn't the one that doomed the family. Richter was. He doomed the family for a very long time, and then hence you can say that it's the reason why, if people died over the years, and yeah, you had other families that just said, screw it, let's not wait for the Belmonts, let's do it ourselves. You know, you could kind of say this is partially Richter's fault and nobody else's. It was kind of, you know, Richter's fault. Anybody else doesn't really count, because they only had the power to either seal Dracula, never to destroy him. Only the vampire killer can destroy him. But yeah, you know, I think I think each Belmont of their times fighting like a very full-powered Dracula. Unless I give you this one. If you was to say Leon Belmont to fight Selma Cruz, reincarnated and full-powered, Leon Belmont would die. If you was to say Trevor Belmont was to fight a full-powered Selma Cruz with Dracula's power, he would die. If you was to say Christopher Belmont fighting against a full-powered resurrected Selma Cruz Dracula, he would die. And then it would just come down to Justin, Richter, Julius. Those three. I think those three to me are the strongest. Yes, those three I think are the strongest Belmonts in the original series. Yes, I would say that. Those three. Those three. I don't count Leon because he was just starting out. I don't count Trevor because he needed, he needed a little something, you know what I'm saying, to get that power that kicked in for the family. So I don't really count him. And Christopher, I wouldn't say he was also starting out too. I would just to say that the latent power didn't develop in him. He didn't get the special genes until the next kin of the generation gained like the very OP genes like Richter, Justin, and obviously Julius. So I think to me those three are the strongest of the original Castlevania. Now again, a lot of people would disagree with me, but just let me know in the comment section below. Just let me know in the comment section below. Or who you actually think is the strongest. Do you think Leon is the strongest? Do you think Trevor? Do you think Christopher? Do you think Simon? Hell, do you even think Gabriel from the original? From the reboot. Just let me know what y'all think. But if you like what you heard, please subscribe, share, do all that wonderful stuff. Happy Halloween, folks, and I catch you later.